was actually, the time I did that the first time that you just saw, I went back there and went, what have I done? What came over me?
Sally Field's latest confession about Steel Magnolias has left fans reeling. While the movie brought joy and tears to millions, the story behind the scenes was far from perfect. Field has revealed how one actress, young and vulnerable, became the target of harsh criticism and relentless pressure. He was who he was and needed the women that he was with to represent him in a certain way. But would he have been different if I could have said, "Don't do that. I don't like it"? The cast tried to shield her, but the pain left scars that lingered long after filming ended. Why did this happen? And how did they manage to bring such beauty to the screen despite it all? Sally's story uncovers a heartbreaking side of Hollywood that few ever see. Sally Margaret Field was born on November 6, 1946, in Pasadena, California. Her arrival came during the post-War II baby boom, a time when America was filled with hope and excitement for the future. Her family's life, however, was far from glamorous. Sally's mother, Margaret Field, was an actress, while her father, Richard Drenfield, was a pharmacist who had served in the Army during the war. They lived in a small, modest apartment in Pasadena, nothing like the shiny world of Hollywood that her mother occasionally dipped into. These early years shaped Sally's view of life, teaching her resilience and the value of hard work. But everything changed when Sally was just 4 years old. Her parents' marriage ended, leaving her young life shaken. In 1952, her mother remarried a man named Jock Mahoney, an actor and stuntman. On the surface, it seemed like an exciting match. Mahoney had a foot in show business, just like Sally's mother, but this new marriage brought its own shadows. Sally Field's memoir, In Pieces, exposed a shocking secret she had kept hidden for years. When she was just a little girl, her stepfather started abusing her under the pretense of asking her to walk on his back. As time went on, these backwalks turned into something much worse, a pattern of sexual abuse that lasted until she was 14 years old. In her book, Sally described how confused she felt because her stepfather could sometimes be really nice, almost like a magical Pied Piper character, but other times he was scary and cruel. Amid the turmoil, Sally needed an escape, and she found it in acting. It began at Birmingham High School in Van Nuys, where she joined the drama department. She was also a cheerleader, but it was acting that truly gave her life meaning. "I'd landed in the drama department," she later said, "and it just kind of saved me." On stage, she found freedom, a place where she could leave her real-world troubles behind and step into someone else's life, even if just for a little while. She gave everything she had to every role, no matter how small. Acting wasn't just a hobby for Sally, it was a lifeline. She poured her emotions, her frustrations, and her hopes into her performances, and in doing so, she began to uncover who she truly was. Sally Field's life changed forever when she landed her first big role in Gidget. She was just 18, wide-eyed and eager, when she beat out 75 other actresses for the part. It was a dream come true. The show, about a teenage surfer girl in Southern California, had all the charm and fun of youth. Sally loved every minute of it. She called it bliss, saying she felt like she was learning something new every day. But then something unexpected happened. Gidget was canceled after just one season. Sally was heartbroken. The show had barely found its footing, but in those 32 episodes, she had become America's girl next door. It was a blessing and a curse, though she didn't know it yet. Just when she thought her career might stall, she got another offer, this time for The Flying Nun. The premise was odd. She would play Sister Bernice, a nun who could fly thanks to her lightweight frame and her giant cornet. Sally hesitated. She didn't want to do it. The idea of playing a flying nun felt ridiculous to her. "I'm almost 19, she told herself, "and I don't want to spend my days dressed as a nun." But pressure came from all sides. Her stepfather insisted she'd take the job. She feared she might never work again if she turned it down. Reluctantly, she said yes. The show became a hit. Kids adored it, and families gathered around their TVs to watch the cheerful nun soar through adventures. It ran for 3 seasons with 82 episodes in total. Sally smiled on screen, but behind the scenes, she was deeply unhappy. She felt trapped. She wanted to grow and play complex, serious roles, but every day she had to put on that costume and be someone she didn't recognize. "I didn't want to be the flying nun," she later confessed. "I didn't know who I was, but I knew who I wasn't." When The Flying Nun ended, Sally thought she could finally move on, but the industry saw her differently. To them, she was still the sweet, wholesome girl next door. Casting directors didn't take her seriously. She realized that breaking free from that image would be much harder than she thought. The frustration grew unbearable. Sally felt stuck. She was 27 by then and knew she had to do something drastic. In 1973, she enrolled at the Actors Studio, where Lee Strasberg, the legendary acting coach, taught method acting. This was her turning point. Strasberg taught her how to connect with her characters, how to use her own experiences without being consumed by them. It was like unlocking a door to parts of herself she hadn't known existed. Sally began to see acting not as pretending, but as living 1,000 different lives. Her moment to prove herself came in 1976 when she landed the lead role in Sybil, a television miniseries about a woman with multiple personalities. It was a role unlike anything she had done before, and it terrified her. But Sally knew this was the chance she'd been waiting for. On set, she transformed. Sally didn't just act, she became Sybil. The character had 16 distinct personalities, and each one felt real, from the playful Peggy Lee to the sorrowful Mary. In one unforgettable scene, Sybil's childlike personality hid under a piano, terrified. Sally's performance was so raw and vulnerable that it left everyone on set speechless. She poured every ounce of her training into that role, and it showed. When Sybil aired, critics raved. Sally's performance was hailed as a masterpiece, and she won her first Emmy Award. It was a moment of validation, proof that all her hard work had been worth it. No one could call her just a sitcom actress anymore. But even with the Emmy in her hands, Sally wasn't satisfied. She had reinvented herself, but she wasn't done yet. She wanted more depth, more challenge, more stories to tell. Sally Field's career hit its peak in 1979 with a role that would change everything for her. She was cast as Norma Ray, a film about a determined mill worker fighting to unionize her workplace. The character was fierce, vulnerable, and full of heart. Sally poured every ounce of her soul into the role. It was demanding, but she was ready for it. There was one moment in the film that stood out from the rest. Sally's character climbed onto a table in the middle of the noisy factory floor. She held up a sign that simply said, "Union." Slowly, the machines stopped one by one as her co-workers stood in solidarity. It was a powerful scene, and Sally's performance made it unforgettable. When the cameras stopped rolling, everyone on set knew they had witnessed something special. Norma Ray became a sensation. Audiences connected with Sally's raw and honest portrayal. Critics couldn't stop praising her. When award season came around, she won her first Academy Award for Best Actress. It was a triumph, but more importantly, it was proof that she had finally broken free of the typecasting that had haunted her early career. But Sally wasn't done. 5 years later, she took on another challenging role in Places in the Heart. This time, she played Edna Spaulding, a widow fighting to keep her farm during the Great Depression. The story was quiet but deeply moving. Sally brought strength and resilience to Edna, making audiences feel every hardship and small victory she experienced. There was a scene in Places in the Heart that left everyone stunned. Edna, tired but determined, sat alone after a long day of work. Sally didn't say a word, but her face told the whole story. It was moments like these that showed just how far she had come as an actress. She no longer needed dialogue to convey emotion. Her presence alone was enough. When Sally won her second Oscar for Places in the Heart, it was another milestone. Her acceptance speech became legendary. She stood on that stage, overwhelmed with gratitude, and said, "I can't deny the fact that you like me right now. You like me." It was a pure, heartfelt moment that captured exactly who she was now. Sally was no longer just an actress. She was a force in Hollywood. someone who had earned the respect of her peers and the love of her audience, but she wasn't content to rest on her success. Sally Field's big-screen breakthrough came with Smokey and the Bandit in 1977. She played Carrie, a runaway bride who finds herself on a wild adventure with Burt Reynolds' charismatic bandit. The film was pure fun, high-speed chases, witty banter, and a touch of romance. Field's quick humor and undeniable chemistry with Reynolds stole the show. It was clear she wasn't just a supporting player, she was a star. The film became a massive hit, earning $126 million at the box office. Suddenly, Sally was everywhere. Fans loved her playful energy and critics took notice of her natural charm. When the sequel came out in 1980, she stepped back into the role of Carrie with ease. But by the time the third movie rolled around in 1983, Sally had moved on. She was chasing roles that challenged her in new ways. That challenge came with Absence of Malice in 1981. Sally played Megan Carter, a journalist whose story wreaks havoc on an innocent man's life. It was a role that asked tough questions about ethics and accountability. Sally dove into the part, showing a side of herself that audiences hadn't seen before. The film was a hit, earning over $40 million and 3 Oscar nominations. Critics praised her for bringing depth to a morally complex character, proving she could hold her own in serious drama. In 1985, Sally shifted gears again with Murphy's Romance. The story was simple. A divorced mother moves to a small town and finds herself falling for the local pharmacist, played by James Garner. But the performances made it shine. Sally's Emma was independent and vulnerable, a perfect match for Garner's steady, charming Murphy. Their love story felt real and audiences adored it. The film earned over $30 million and a Golden Globe nomination for Sally, cementing her place as a leading actress in both comedy and drama. While her career soared, Sally juggled another demanding role, being a mom. Her first son, Peter, was born in 1969, followed by Eli in 1972 and Sam in 1987. Motherhood wasn't easy to balance with the demands of Hollywood. Sally turned down major roles, including Norma Ray twice, because she didn't want to spend too much time away from her kids. When she finally took the role, she brought her sons with her to Georgia during filming. She often said it was a constant struggle. "I worried I wasn't giving enough to my kids," she admitted, "and then I'd worry I wasn't giving enough to my work." But Sally made it work. Her sons traveled with her, visiting film sets and learning about the world their mother was shaping with her talent. Then came a project Sally Field would never forget. In 1989, a producer reached out with a script of Steel Magnolias. The script was based on playwright Robert Harling's personal story about losing his sister, and that real-life connection made it deeply personal and emotionally charged. When Sally read the script, she knew she couldn't say no. When Steel Magnolias hit theaters, it was an instant hit with audiences. People laughed, cried, and saw themselves in these women. The film earned over $95 million worldwide, a staggering success for a character-driven drama. But behind the scenes, something was not right. While filming in February 2024, Sally Field stunned Hollywood with a revelation that sent shockwaves through the industry. In an interview with Vulture, she spoke about the painful behind-the-scenes truth of Steel Magnolias. It wasn't about the story of friendship that audiences adored. It was about what Julia Roberts endured while filming. Roberts, just 22 at the time, had faced constant criticism and pressure from Ross. Field didn't hold back, describing Ross's treatment of Roberts as very, very, very hard. Julia wasn't just criticized, she was targeted. She called it awful and said the young actress bore the brunt of his disapproval every day. This wasn't just a director pushing for perfection, it was something far more deliberate, Field shared. He picked on her with a vengeance, emphasizing just how relentless it was. Julia, fresh from her breakout role in Mystic Pizza, was still finding her footing in Hollywood, and this was how she was met. Sally Field didn't hold back when describing what Julia Roberts endured on the set of Steel Magnolias. The young actress, just starting to make a name for herself, became the target of director Herbert Ross's relentless criticism. It wasn't just a harsh word here or there. This was a pattern, a constant picking apart of Roberts in ways that seemed designed to tear her down. Field shared one particularly cutting moment. Ross reportedly told Roberts, "You can't act, you need lessons." Imagine hearing that as a 22-year-old surrounded by Hollywood legends trying to prove yourself. It wasn't just unkind, it was cruel. But it didn't stop there. Ross went so far as to suggest she remove a mole or wart from under her eye, a shocking demand that had nothing to do with her talent and everything to do with impossible beauty standards. The director didn't limit his harshness to Roberts. Dolly Parton, already an icon by then, wasn't spared either. Ross told her she needed acting lessons too. For someone like Dolly, who was beloved for her natural charm and charisma, this criticism felt not only unnecessary but deeply disrespectful. Field later remarked that Ross seemed to thrive on tearing people down, calling him a real son of a... When asked why Ross targeted Roberts so harshly, Field didn't hesitate because he could. She said simply Roberts was the youngest, the least experienced, and perhaps the easiest to intimidate. Field added, "Some people just need to have somebody they pick on," painting a picture of a man who seemed to wield his power to belittle rather than uplift. But Roberts wasn't alone. The cast, a powerhouse group of seasoned actresses, saw what was happening and refused to let it go unnoticed. Field revealed how they came together to protect Roberts, creating a safe space amidst the turmoil. "We would all rally around Julia because she was the baby," Field said. The veteran actresses, including Shirley MacLaine, Olympia Dukakis, and Dolly Parton, made it their mission to lift Roberts up when she felt torn down. MacLaine remembered those nights when Roberts would come to her house full of doubt and tears. She'd say, "I think I'm terrible. What am I doing?" MacLaine shared. Dolly Parton, however, brought her own brand of defense, known for her wit and kindness. Parton didn't hesitate to confront Ross when his behavior crossed a line. Field recalled a moment when Dolly, blending humor with bluntness, delivered a sharp retort that left the director speechless. It was Dolly's way of saying enough was enough. Despite the challenges, Julia Roberts delivered a performance that became iconic. Her role as Shelby, full of joy and heartbreak, resonated with audiences worldwide. She went on to win a Golden Globe and earn an Oscar nomination for the role, catapulting her into superstardom. In 2000, Sally Field returned to television with a role that would cement her status as one of the most versatile actresses in Hollywood. She played Maggie Weensey, the bipolar mother of Dr. Abby Lockhart, on NBC's hit medical drama ER. It wasn't just a guest role, it was a master class in acting. Field dove headfirst into the complexities of mental illness, portraying Maggie's manic episodes and emotional turmoil with heartbreaking authenticity. One unforgettable scene had Maggie arriving at the ER mid-breakdown, throwing her daughter's world into chaos. Field brought raw emotion to every moment, showing both Maggie's fragility and strength. Critics couldn't stop talking about it, and neither could audiences. In 2001, Field won the Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series. Her performance didn't just earn her accolades, it started conversations about mental health and gave visibility to the struggles of those living with bipolar disorder. But Sally wasn't done yet. In 2006, she took on another transformative role, playing Nora Walker in ABC's Brothers and Sisters. This time, she wasn't a guest. She was the heart of the show. Nora was a widowed mother navigating life with her 5 adult children, and Field made her unforgettable. Interestingly, she wasn't even the first choice for the role. Producers had cast someone else for the pilot, but after rethinking the character, they turned to Field. It was the best decision they could have made. Field poured everything into Nora, making her strong, vulnerable, funny, and fiercely protective all at once. Audiences fell in love with her, and so did critics. In 2007, she took home the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. The show ran for 5 seasons, and Field kept Nora's journey compelling from start to finish, proving her ability to evolve a character over time. Then came Lincoln in 2012. Field had to fight for the role of Mary Todd Lincoln. Steven Spielberg wanted her, but when Daniel D. Lewis was cast as Abraham Lincoln, doubts arose. Field wasn't about to let this chance slip away. She gained 25 pounds, immersed herself in history, and even screen-tested for the part, a rare move for an actress of her caliber. Her determination paid off. Playing Mary Todd Lincoln was no easy feat. The character was layered with grief, passion, and strength, and Field brought all of that to life. One scene stands out, a fiery argument with Lewis's Lincoln that crackles with intensity. Field matched him note for note, proving she belonged in every frame. Critics were blown away, and Field earned an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Even as she entered her 70s, Field didn't slow down. In Hello, My Name is Doris in 2015, she played a quirky, lovelorn older woman navigating uncharted territory. It was a role that could have felt silly in less capable hands, but Field infused it with heart and humor, turning the indie film into a surprise hit. In 2023, she joined a powerhouse cast for 80 for Brady alongside Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Rita Moreno. The comedy followed four lifelong friends chasing a dream of seeing Tom Brady play in the Super Bowl. Field brought her signature charm and impeccable comedic timing, holding her own among these legendary actresses. Through it all, Sally Field has shown that age is no limit to talent or ambition. She keeps choosing roles that challenge her and resonate with audiences, proving time and again why she remains one of Hollywood's most beloved and respected stars.